Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take a stack of your sources, pull them apart, and really find those key nuggets of knowledge. Today, we're diving into something quite modern and honestly a bit somber. It's this phenomenon of individuals publicly announcing their own deaths, usually through pre-recorded messages or, scheduled social media posts. We've gathered a really compelling set of recent articles, some social media excerpts too, detailing several, pretty well-known online figures who use their platforms for a final goodbye. Our mission here for this deep dive is to try and unpack why. Why choose this very personal but also very public farewell? What kinds of messages are they sharing? And maybe bigger picture, what does this whole trend tell us about, our digital lives, how we connect, and maybe even how we're starting to think about mortality differently in the 21st century? Okay, so let's jump right in. The most recent example, the one getting a lot of discussion, is influencer Tanner Martin. He was just 30. Passed away June 26th, 2025, after fighting colon cancer for 5 years. He left behind his wife, Shay, and their brand new baby girl, Amalu. They called her Giauzi. She was born, just over a month before he died. Yeah, the news came out via a video posted on the Instagram account he shared with Shay, and it starts with these really striking words. Hey, it's me, Tanner. If you're watching this, I am dead. Wow. He went on to explain, why he made it, said he saw someone else do something similar about a year ago, thought it was a, quote, good opportunity to get all your thoughts out. But also, and this is key, he explicitly said he hoped it would make his wife Shay's grief journey easier, let her take a break as long as she needed to from social media.
That intentionality there, it's really something. Canner, diagnosed back in 2020, right? So he had time to think. He's not just sharing his story, he's actively trying to manage the aftermath for his loved ones, trying to support them, which really makes you ask, what does this kind of public pre-planned message do? What does it offer the person making it in terms of control, and what does it offer their community, their followers?
That control aspect is huge. And it gets even more interesting because Tanner didn't stop there. He used the video to share final requests. He thanked his fans, naturally, but then asked them directly to continue to offer prayers and stuff for my sweetheart Shay and my baby girl Giauzi. He even talked about the afterlife, said death is scary, but it's also a new adventure, and that he was, quote, excited to see what the experience is like.
Quite a perspective.
Right. And then after that first video, another one dropped. On his account again, this one had his last wish. He was actually holding Amy Lou in this one. And he asks his fans straight up, I just wanted to ask you guys if you would help me raise Giauzi. He explained a GoFundMe was being set up to help replace what I would be there for, specifically mentioning help with a down payment on a modest starter home for Shay and Amy Lou.
So if you step back and look at that, Canner's approach really connects his online presence directly to, real-world needs, very tangible needs. It's more than just saying goodbye. It's like a carefully planned legacy request. He's leveraging that community he built for practical help for his family.
Exactly. It really blurs those lines, doesn't it, between the public influencer and the private family man trying to provide. Tanner's case is powerful, definitely. But what's fascinating about this whole trend is, the variety. People are doing this for different reasons, sharing different kinds of messages. Let's look at a few other examples from the past year or so. They really show the range. Okay, take Bella Bradford, a TikToker. She was only 24 when she died, October 2024. Battled a really rare cancer in her jaw muscle. Her final video, it was a get ready with me. Because she said, I love doing these and I love fashion. And she left her followers with this sort of hopeful message. Remember that you live every day and you only die once, so everything helps.
What's really striking about Bella is how she stayed true to her established online self, right to the very end. Choosing a get ready with me, it makes the announcement uniquely her. It reflects her personality, what she valued. This is a pretty powerful message, I think, about living fully, right up until that last moment.
Yeah, living fully. And that specific advice, you live every day and you only die once, so everything helps. It's almost practical, in a strange way, very grounding. Then you have Kimberly Nix, Canadian influencer, 31 years old, and also a resident doctor trained in internal medicine. She announced her passing in May 2024. She'd been documenting her journey with metastatic sarcoma for 3 years. Her TikTok video said, if you're seeing this message, I've passed away peacefully. She talked about having a beautiful life, listed her favorite things, pets, makeup, and expressed just immense gratitude, saying, I'm in happy tears because you've all made me find so much purpose in the end of my life.
Kimberly's story really highlights how these farewells can be a final act of agency, a way to connect, especially that focus on gratitude. She wasn't just saying goodbye. She was using her platform to share the profound purpose she found right at the end. It turns her final message into this, Testament to a life well lived and a community she really cherished.
Finding purpose through sharing, even then, it says a lot about the connection these creators feel with their audience, doesn't it?
Absolutely. A very deep connection.
Okay, let's not forget Fiona MacDonald. She was an Australian TV host, 67, died in October 2024 after a 3-year fight with motor neuron disease. Her sister Kylie posted the message for her on Instagram. Fiona wrote, "Farewell, my friends. I have left the building. Hopefully I'm looking down from a cloud." But what really stands out is the honesty. She admitted, "Last night brought an end to a very tough few months. While I've never wanted to die, the thought of leaving my tortured body was a relief."
That raw honesty from Fiona adds another layer entirely. It's not just about positive reflections or requests. It's openly acknowledging the immense suffering that can come before death and, well, the relief that passing can bring in those circumstances. That perspective is also incredibly valuable, I think. For her community, it shows a different, very real side of the end-of-life experience.
That kind of vulnerability, admitting relief, it must have been incredibly difficult to share, but also maybe validating for others going through similar things, a different kind of closure, perhaps?
For sure.
And then there's Daniela Thackeray, just 24. She wrote a personal note on Facebook. Her family posted it after she died in February 2024 from cholangiocarcinoma, a rare aggressive liver cancer. Her message really emphasized choice, how you react, she wrote. "Although we can't control what happens to us, we can control how we react." Quote, "I chose not to mourn the life I was losing despite being so devastated, but to instead enjoy every moment I had left." End quote. And her advice, romanticize your life. Do whatever makes you happy and don't let anyone take the joy of life away from you, X. Her very last words were for her fiancé, Tom.
Daniela's message is like a philosophy of life, articulated right at the end. It's this powerful statement about resilience, about living intentionally, even when facing the absolute worst. It serves as this profound piece of wisdom, almost like a final lesson for her followers to really think about and maybe take on board.
Romanticize your life. That's quite a call to action, especially from someone facing their own mortality at such a young age. Makes you wonder how many people really took that to heart.
Yeah, a powerful legacy in itself.
Lastly, let's touch on Paul Harrell, big YouTube firearms reviewer, over 1 million subs. Died from pancreatic cancer in September 2024. His video was simply titled, "I'm Dead." He'd actually recorded it way back in December 2023. He thanked his fans, saying he couldn't even begin to articulate how beneficial and appreciated those things are. But what was really notable, I thought, was that he actually apologized for his departure. Said, "My apologies for that. It really feels like I've let everybody down."
That apology from Paul, it's quite striking, isn't it? It speaks volumes about the kind of bond influencers can build with their audience, that feeling of responsibility, like he owed them something or let them down. It really underscores just how deep these online relationships can feel, both of the creator and the community. It's more than just views and clicks.
Feeling like you've let everybody down by dying. Yeah, that really highlights how tangled these digital lives get with genuine emotional connections. It's quite heavy. So, okay. We've looked at Tanner's plea for his family, Bella's final style statement, Fiona's honesty about relief, Kimberly's gratitude, Daniela's call to romanticize life, Paul's apology. When you pull all these different stories together, what's the main takeaway? What's the common thread running through this deep dive? Or maybe, what's the biggest surprise?
Well, what's really compelling, I think, is how proactive these individuals are. They aren't just passively letting things happen. They're grabbing digital tools to actively shape and control their final narrative. These aren't your standard obituaries posted by someone else. No, these are direct first-person messages. It lets the individual have the last word, Offer comfort, maybe share some final wisdom, even make those very specific requests like Tanner did. It feels like a really powerful form of agency and a way to find closure, not just for themselves, but for their whole online community, too.
It really does feel like a totally new way of handling goodbye, of processing grief, maybe. And yeah, it definitely blurs the lines between the public face and these incredibly private final moments. But it also makes me wonder, while it gives the individual control, what about the audience? What's the long-term effect on them, on how we all grieve together or apart online?
Exactly. That's the bigger picture question, isn't it? If we connect all this, it really points to a shift, maybe a profound evolution in how we relate to death in this super connected digital world. It's become a way to sort of extend your presence, make sure your own voice, your wishes are heard loud and clear, and maybe even continue to have an impact after you're physically gone. This whole trend really pushes you, the listener, to think critically about your own digital legacy. How might you want to be remembered? What final imprint do you want to leave?
So We've explored this growing trend, people using their online platforms for these final, very personal farewells. We've seen motivations ranging from, practical support for family, right through to deep philosophical thoughts on life and death. Each story, Tanner, Bella, Fiona, Kimberly, Daniela, Paul, gives us this unique glimpse into how death is being navigated in the digital age. It's reshaping what a goodbye can even look like. So the question for you to think about is, what does this trend really signal about grief, about legacy, now that we're all so hyper-connected? And how might our own digital footprints, our online selves, keep evolving even after we're gone?